Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. At first, I offer my humble prayers in the lotus feet of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. I also extend warm greetings and respect to all of you. Today, from the scripture VIVEKCUDAMANI, composed by Adi Sri Sankaracarya ji, we will be listening chapter 2nd. The holy words from the scripture are as follows. Others maintain that the inquiry into the truth of one's own self is devotion. The inquirer about the truth of the Atman who is possessed of the above mentioned means of attainment should approach a wise preceptor who confers emancipation from bondage, who is versed in the Vedas, sinless, unsmitten by desire, and a knower of Brahman par excellence, who has withdrawn himself into Brahman, who is calm like fire that has consumed its fuel, who is a boundless reservoir of mercy that knows no reason, and a friend of all good people who prostrate themselves before him. Worshipping that Guru with devotion and approaching him when he is pleased with prostration, humility, and service should ask him what he has got to know. O Master, O friend of those that bow to thee, thou ocean of mercy, I bow to thee, save me fallen as I am into sea of birth and death, with a straightforward glance of thine eyes which sheds nectar like grace supreme. Save me from death, afflicted as I am by the unquenchable fire of this world forest, and shaken violently by the winds of an untoward lot, terrified and seeking refuge in thee, for I do not know of any other man with whom to find shelter. There are good souls, calm and magnanimous, who do good to others as does the spring, and who, having themselves crossed this dreadful ocean of birth and death, help others also to cross the same without any motive whatsoever. It is the very nature of the magnanimous to move of their own accord towards removing others' troubles. Here, for instance, is the moon, who, as everybody knows, voluntarily saves the earth parched by flaming rays of the sun. O Lord, with thy nectar-like speech, sweetened by the enjoyment of the elixir-like bliss of Brahman, pure cooling to a degree, issuing in streams from thy lips as from a pitcher, and delightful to the ear, do thou sprinkle me who am tormented by worldly affliction as by the tongues of a forest fire. Blessed are those on whom even a passing glance of thy eye lights, accepting them as thine own. How to cross this ocean of phenomenal existence? What is to be my fate, and which of the means should I adopt? As to these I know nothing. Condescend to save me, O Lord, and describe at length how to put an end to the misery of this relative existence. As he speaks thus, tormented by the afflictions of the world, which is like a forest on fire, and seeking his protection, the saint eyes him with a glance softened with pity and spontaneously bids him give up all fear. To him who has sought his protection, thirsting for liberation, who duly obeys the injunctions of the scriptures, who is of a serene mind and endowed with calmness, the sage proceeds to inculcate the truth out of sheer grace. Fear not, O learned one, there is no death for thee. There is a means of crossing the sea of relative existence, that very way by which sages have gone beyond it. I shall inculcate to thee. There is a sovereign means which puts an end to the fear of relative existence, though that thou wilt cross the sea of samsara and attain the supreme bliss. Reasoning on the meaning of the Vedanta leads to efficient knowledge, which is immediately followed by the total annihilation of the misery born of relative existence. Faith, devotion, and the yoga of meditation, these are mentioned by the Shruti as the immediate factors of liberation. In the case of a seeker, whoever abides in these gets liberation from the bondage of the body, which is the conjuring of ignorance. It is verily through the touch of ignorance that thou, who art the Supreme Self, findest thyself under the bondage of the non-self, whence alone proceeds the round of births and death. The fire of knowledge, kindled by the discrimination between these two, burns up the effects of ignorance together with their root. The disciple said, "Condescend to listen, O Master, to the question I am putting. I shall be gratified to hear a reply on the same from thy lips. What is bondage? Forsooth, how has it come upon the self? How does it continue to exist? How is one freed from it? What is this non self, and who is the supreme self? And how can one discriminate between them? Do tell me about all these." The Guru replied, "Blessed art thou! Thou hast achieved thy life's end and hast sanctified thy family, that thou wishest to attain Brahmanhood by getting free from the bondage of ignorance. A father has got his son and others to free him from the depths which he has acquired in his lifetime, but he has got none but himself to remove his bondage. Trouble such as that caused by a load on the head can be removed by others, but none but one's own self can put a stop to the pain which is caused by hunger and the like. The patient who takes the proper diet and medicine is alone seen to recover completely, not through work done by others. The true nature of things is to be known personally, through the eye of clear illumination and not through a sage. What the moon exactly is to be known with one's own eyes. Can others make him know it? Who but one's own self can get rid of the bondage caused by the fetters of ignorance, desire, action, and the like, ay, even in 100 crore of cycles? Neither by yoga, nor by Sankhya, nor by work, nor by learning, but by the realization of one identity with Brahman is liberation possible, and by no other means. The beauty of guitar's form and the skill of playing on its chords serve merely to please a few persons. They do not suffice to confer sovereignty. Loud speech consisting of a shower of words, the skill in expounding the scriptures, and likewise erudition, these merely bring on a little personal enjoyment to the scholar, but are no good for liberation. The study of the scriptures is useless so long as the highest truth is unknown, and it is equally useless when the highest truth has already been known. The scriptures, consisting of many words, are a dense forest which merely causes the mind to ramble. Hence, men of wisdom should earnestly set about knowing the true nature of the self. For one who has been bitten by the serpent of ignorance, the only remedy is the knowledge of Brahman. Of what avail are the Vedas and scriptures, mantras, and medicines to such a one? The disease does not leave off if one simply utters the name of the medicine without taking it. Similarly, without direct realization, one cannot be liberated by the mere utterance of the word Brahman. Thus concludes chapter 2 from the scripture VIVEKCUDAMANI. Thank you for listening. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha.